You did everything right in your first 90 days. You listened, you built relationships, you delivered results. And someone on your team still doesn't respect you. They question your decisions, they undermine you in meetings, they go around you instead of to you. This episode is about how to lead when respect isn't automatic. Here's the truth nobody tells you about leadership. Respect is not automatic. You can have a title, you can have authority, the mandate from leadership, and someone on your team will still test you. Maybe it's the person who wanted your job and didn't get it, the person who's been here longer than you and thinks seniority equals authority, the person who doesn't think you're technical enough or experienced enough or whatever enough, and it hurts. You are working your tail off. You're trying to do right by your team, and someone is actively undermining you. So you start second guessing yourself. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I shouldn't have taken this role. No, you are ready. You do deserve this role. But you need to understand something. Their resistance isn't about you, it's about them, their fear, their ego, their narrative about what leadership should look like. And you don't have to win over everyone, but you do have to lead through it. I'm Dr. Tonya Biglow, and I've coached technical professionals through some of the hardest leadership moments, including when their own team didn't believe in them. And here's what I need you to understand. Resistance is not a referendum on your capability. It's a test of your resolve. Every leader faces this, every single one. The question isn't, will someone test me? The question is, how will I lead when they do? Because how you handle resistance determines whether you build lasting credibility or lose it trying to please everyone. Let me show you how to navigate this. Not all resistance is the same, and how you respond depends on what you're actually dealing with. Type 1, the skeptic. They're testing you. The skeptic isn't against you personally. They're waiting to see if you're competent. They ask hard questions in meetings, they challenge your decisions, they push back on your ideas, and it feels like disrespect, but here's what's actually happening. They're testing whether you can think critically, defend your reasoning, and stay calm under pressure. This is actually a good thing because if you pass this test, they become your biggest advocate. So, how do you handle the skeptic? Welcome their questions publicly. Don't get defensive. Say, that's a great question. Here's my thinking. Then explain your reasoning clearly. Invite their expertise. Say, you've been here longer than I have. What am I missing? Show you value their knowledge without surrendering your authority. Deliver on what you say. The skeptic is watching to see if you follow through. Prove you can consistently. The skeptic doesn't need you to be perfect. They need you to be competent and consistent. Type 2, the rival. They want your job. The rival is different. They wanted your role. They didn't get it. And now they're resentful. They undermine you in meetings. They go around you to senior leadership. They question your decisions to your team when you're not there. This isn't a test. This is a power struggle, and you can't ignore it. So, how do you handle the rival? Address it directly and privately. Don't let it fester. Schedule a one-on-one. Say, I know you wanted this role, and I respect that, but I have it now, and I need to know, can we work together effectively? Because if we can't, that's a problem we will need to solve. Give them the chance to course correct. Some will, some won't. Set clear boundaries publicly. If they undermine you in meetings, address it in that moment. I appreciate your input, but I've made the decision. If you have some concerns, let's discuss them after this meeting. Don't let them hijack your leadership in public. Document patterns. If they continue, document every instance, dates, behaviors, impacts, because if this doesn't improve, this becomes a performance issue and you'll need evidence. Here's the hard truth. Not everyone will choose to support you. The rival might need to leave your team or the organization. That's not your fault. That's them choosing not to adapt. Your job is to give them the opportunity, not force them to take one. Type 3, the saboteur. They are actively undermining you. The saboteur is the rarest, but the most dangerous. They're not testing you. They're not resentful. They are actively working to make you fail. They spread rumors. They withhold information. They poison relationships. They set you up to fail publicly. This is not about earning their respect. This is about protecting yourself and your team. So, how do you handle the saboteur? Move quickly. Do not wait. Don't hope it gets better. This behavior escalates. Loop in your manager and HR immediately. Say, I'm experiencing behaviors that actively undermine my leadership and impacting the team. Here's what's happening. Here's the documentation. I need support addressing this. Create consequences. This person either changes immediately with clear performance plan, or they need to be removed from your team. This isn't about being vindictive. This is about protecting your team from toxic behavior. Because here's what happens if you don't act. Your high performers watch you tolerate sabotage, and they lose respect for you. Your team's morale tanks, your credibility erodes. The saboteur doesn't get to stay, period. Now, let me tell you the biggest mistake I see new leaders make when they face resistance. They try to win everyone over. They bend over backwards to accommodate the person who doesn't even respect them. They second guess their own decisions. They work twice as hard to prove they're worthy. They avoid conflict, hoping the person will eventually come around. And you know what happens. They lose the respect of everyone else because your high performers are watching. They're watching to see if you will hold standards. They're watching to see if you will protect the team from toxic behavior. They're watching to see if you have a backbone or if you'll fold under pressure. And when you try to please the person who's undermining you, you send a message to everyone else. Disrespect is tolerated here. You don't have to win everyone over. You have to lead with clarity, consistency, and courage. The right people will follow you. The wrong people will self-select. And that's exactly what should happen. Here's what changed everything for me and for the leaders I coached. I stopped seeing resistance as a threat. I started seeing it as information. When someone resists you, they're telling you something. The skeptic is telling you, I need to see that you're competent before I trust you. What that means is you need to demonstrate your thinking process publicly. Be transparent about your decisions. The rival is telling you, I'm struggling with this transition and I don't know how to process it. What that means is you need to address the elephant in the room, have a hard conversation, set clear boundaries. The saboteur is telling you, I am not aligned with your leadership and I'm not willing to be. What that means is this person needs to leave your team quickly. Resistance isn't personal, even when it feels personal. It's feedback about what your leadership needs to address. The skeptic, address with competence. The rival, address with clarity and boundaries. The saboteur, address with consequences. When you stop taking it personally and start treating it strategically, you stop losing sleep. You stop second guessing yourself. And you start leading like someone who actually has authority, because you do. Here's what happens when you stop trying to win everyone over and start leading through resistance. Your high performers respect you more because you're not tolerating behavior that drags the team down. Your boundaries get clearer because you're not bending yourself into shapes to accommodate people who won't support you anyway. Your confidence becomes real because you're not performing confidence you don't feel. You're earning it by handling hard things. The right people will step up because they see you're a leader worth following. And here's the surprising part. Sometimes the skeptic becomes your strongest ally because you proved you can handle their test. Sometimes the rival adjusts because you set clear boundaries. They realize they have a choice. Not always, but sometimes. And the saboteur, they leave or you remove them. And your team gets stronger because of it. Respect is something you command. And you command it through clarity, consistency, and the courage to lead, even when it's uncomfortable. Here's what I want you to do. Identify which type of resistance you're facing right now. The skeptic, the rival, or the saboteur. Write it down. Be honest. Download the Leading Through Resistance framework. The link is in the description. It has scripts for each type of resistance, decision trees for when to act, and documentation templates if you need them. Take one action this week. If it's the skeptic, welcome their next challenge publicly and explain your reasoning clearly. If it's the rival, Schedule the direct conversation this week. Don't wait. If it's the saboteur, document what's happening and loop in your manager and HR today. And drop a comment. Have you faced resistance as a leader? If so, which type? How did you handle it? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. You don't need everyone on your team to respect you. You need to respect yourself enough to lead with clarity, even when it's uncomfortable. The skeptic will test you, pass the test. The rival will challenge you, set boundaries. The saboteur will undermine you, remove them. And the right people, the ones who are actually aligned with where you're going, they will follow you. Not because you're perfect, but because you're clear, consistent, and courageous enough to lead through resistance. In the next episode, you've built credibility. You're leading through resistance. Your team is performing, but you're still doing too much yourself. We're talking about why technical leaders struggle to delegate and the framework that finally makes it possible. Because if you can't delegate, you can't scale. And if you can't scale, you will burn out. That's our next episode. I'm Dr. Tonya Biglow. This is the leadership gap nobody talks about. You don't need everyone's respect. You need the courage to lead anyway. Let's keep closing the gaps together.